Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where our attempt to our attempt to make this death of this probe go a little faster has failed. MechJeb is still happily just waggling back and forth. And I'm actually not fully convinced it's MechJeb. Okay, it's MechJeb. Excellent. Okay. So yeah, it's there's not too much we can do about it. We have too much upward buoyant pressure on our heat shield to be able to actually kill this probe in a timely fashion. So instead, we've just got to keep on falling. We're moving at about 32 meters per second now. And I don't foresee that changing too much. I mean, we're still not in the thickest part of the atmosphere, technically. But we'll get there eventually. We are at 4x time acceleration, so we are falling at a relatively low rate. We're 39 kilometers above the surface, if you will. There is no surface for a gas giant, but that's where we are right now. Just about to 38 kilometers. So we've got a long ways to fall, and we've got no way to waggle our way out of this heat shield trap, which is super unfortunate. And we also don't have a working antenna, so we can't control it ourselves. Only MechJeb can. Now, hypothetically, what happens if we... That's exciting. Interesting. So we can, like, do all sorts of things like that. That's very exciting indeed. I'm hoping to flip our heat shield by doing this. That's what I'm trying to do right now, is flip the heat shield. Come on. Get it flipped. No? Okay. What if we just do something along the lines of this, where we're just constantly trying to aim at the surface? Oh my. That's a little dizzying. There's just too much buoyant pressure right now. Okay. So we can do that. That's not a problem. We can also kind of get over to the surface, or to pointing at the surface, kind of. Heavy on the kind of. And in order to do that, we just need to do something along the lines of this. I'm still hoping that we'll be able to flip this thing if we keep up this kind of top structure of rotation, but MechJeb doesn't seem to like to keep it up too much. Oh, there we go. Can we get some nice aerodynamic forces? No? Okay. Well, we'll try again. Ooh, that's some nice wiggling. I like that. If we can just wiggle it a little further. What if we go over here? No? Okay. Well, we are about 21 kilometers above the surface now, so we're getting close. This thing will crash in quite soon. Ish. We're still not in the thickest part of the atmosphere. And we're still decelerating. Okay, that's a decent top structure. Come on, MechJeb, keep doing it. No? Okay. Oh my. That's kind of exciting. I don't know how it handled that. Ooh. That was almost good. The physics interactions there were not quite what I'm looking for. In retrospect, I should have flipped before jettisoning. But I'm okay with this. I mean, at this point, even if we manage to shake this little craft apart, that's fine. There we go. Perfect. And now it's dead. Vessel is destroyed. That is exactly what we were going for. It was not a catastrophic failure, actually. We got what we were going for. So we're not going to revert it. We're going back to the Space Center. And let's just check out what we've got available for missions, because we should have some new missions available. Okay, what do we got here? Land a Class A asteroid on Kerbal. Oh my, that sounds safe. Science data from surface of pole. We need to do that anyway. Let's go ahead and take that. That'll be perfect. Okay, as long as we're back here, I want to check on our timer on our jewel base. That's mission elapsed. Okay, maneuver node is in about 36 years. So we've got plenty of time. So let's hop on over to our VAB, and we need to get ourselves a lander for Pol. Realistically, I don't think Pol has much of an atmosphere, so let's go ahead and open up our standard non-atmospheric lander, which is the Geraldo Mark II. Here we go. Now this only has 11,632 meters per second. That should be enough, theoretically. However, we want Pol rather than Tylo. Holy crap, that's a lot of thrust to weight. But MechJeb tends to be wrong on that. Does KER agree? Thrust to weight on stage 2. Wow. 52. That is too much. So let's drop the Cub engines. And instead, let's slap on some twitches. Put it in mirror symmetry. Make sure to center it as much as possible. How are we doing there? That is still a lot of thrust to weight. MechJeb claims we have 6. KER claims that we have 21.7. Any way you slice it, we have a lot of delta V. KER is claiming 13,250. Realistically, what if we didn't have twitches? What if we used, like, ants? Or spiders. What if we use spiders? 0.78 according to MechJeb. 2.85 according to KER. Okay. That's interesting. I do wish that these were agreeing. It would make my job a whole lot easier. But stage 2 for Pol. Let's also make sure that our fairing is down below. 0.86, 2.85. Okay. Ditch all of that. Yep. That all looks good. Okay. So, realistically, 0.86 isn't enough to land with. It needs to be over 1. However, I don't quite trust MechJeb's Delta V stats right now. I'm thinking that this is correct, 2.85. That feels right. I know that Pol has very little gravity. Of course, it's also 23 minutes and 42 seconds of burn time, so that seems a little bit on the extreme side. Let's think about ditching this fuel tank and just run the T100s. 0.94, 4.06. That's much closer to what I'm looking for here. Now the next question is, what if we were to switch something else up here? What would that look like? How would we lose just a little bit of weight? Well, we could ditch these solar panels. Realistically, I don't think we need them. 0.94. Do we have any duplicates inside of our cargo bay here? We do have 2 rechargeable batteries. I'm not sure we strictly need 2 of them. Let's try ditching one, and then centering the other one. Something along the lines of that. We've also got an RTG in there. So yeah, we definitely don't need those external solar panels. These are fine, but we don't need anything else. Okay, I didn't see any duplicate science experiments, but that gets us to 0.95 according to MechJeb and 4.14 according to KER. Now, I don't know why MechJeb and KER are giving such different numbers. I do know that historically, KER has been much more accurate throughout this playthrough. So I think we can safely say that KER is probably more accurate. Let's go ahead and save this, and let's do a launch. If this probe fails, that's okay. We've got plenty of money and plenty of time. So yeah, I think this should be just fine. This is, of course, the last mission going to the Joule system as well, which is kind of exciting. Let's see here. Yeah, see, MechJeb is now agreeing with the total delta V here. So I think that KER was correct. I think we're good to go. So let's engage our autopilot, and let's get out of here. Hopefully MechJeb doesn't fail launching this craft, seeing as we changed very little about it, all things considered. How you doing, MechJeb? You okay on your authority here? Looks like you're doing fine on your roll. This yaw looks okay so far. Yeah, that looks fine. We're yawing over, that's as expected. We are approaching max Q. Maximum dynamic pressure is right about now. There we go. Okay, I think we're good. I don't think MechJeb is going to have a problem here. Fantastic. So let's just go ahead and push on up and do our normal burns, skipping circularization, all of that. It'll be no problem. Gonna go ahead and ditch our fairing once we reach 50 kilometers. As normal, our apoapsis height is currently only 40 kilometers, which is a little bit unfortunate, but this is a heavier launch than our probes. There's no doubt about that. Okay, we are down to 15 seconds of burn in our outer stages. We are getting some pretty significant atmospheric heating effects. Turn on RCS to stop this pitch as much as possible. Okay. I think we're good. Gonna ditch our fairing now. Nice atmospheric scattering. I don't know why I'm suddenly noticing that. I've noticed it a million times, but I love the atmospheric scattering in this game. I want that shader. I'm willing to bet they won't give it to me. Okay. Please do skip circularization. Just go ahead and ditch all that. Go prograde. We're going. So we do actually get a little bit of Delta V prograde out of our side boosters, which is fantastic. And we didn't lose any of our tail fins, which is actually a bit unfortunate. I'm going to go ahead and turn on our brakes action group before we forget, as well as extending solar panels. We do have an RTG on here, so it wouldn't get us into any major trouble, but it's always nice. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and burn off some monopropellant, helping with our escape burn. There we go. And off we go. I would love to physics warp this burn, but alas, it is not to be. But here we are, our quasi-last mission to the Joule system, assuming we don't have to send anything else to the asteroid base. Which the asteroid base should be I mean, it's not mined out yet because our fuel tanks are all full, but we can get it mined out very, very quickly as we're burning fuel. So once we get to the point where we're actually pushing our asteroid base around, we'll be able to lower its weight extremely substantially. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop burning monopropellant. And we are going to... There. Just got escape velocity. Fantastic. We're going to warp ahead about 19 days, and while we're warping, since we're going to warp slow in the sphere of influence of Kerbal, I'm going to go ahead and set Joule as our target, as usual. We'll have to do our standard inclination burn. However, it looks like at the next descending node will be perfect. I'm going to go ahead and get up the maneuver planner here, and we are going to do a match planes with target at the nearest ascending descending node with the target. There we go. And we've still got 9 days of warp to go. Thanks, Kerbal. One thing to note, we do not have our antenna currently extended. So we don't have any probe data. That's not a good thing, and as soon as this time warp is finished, I'm going to go ahead and extend the antenna, because we definitely want to be able to do that. Things. We like to be able to do things, just in general. Okay, extend antenna. Don't use RCS. Okay, so where are we right now? We are here. Okay, do our inclination change in 53 days, 212.1 meters per second. So we're actually going to have a lot of main stage burn for our Hohmann transfer. We're going to have like 1,300 meters per second. I like that a lot. Overall, this is going to be plenty to get to pull. More than plenty. Goodbye, Kerbal. It was nice not knowing you. Actually, you're here. Hello, Kerbal. Goodbye, Kerbal. We're out of here. Well, we're not super out of here yet. We're just a little out of here. We're about to change our inclination, which will get us pretty substantially out of here. But our Hohmann transfer, that's going to be what really gets us out of here. Okay, this inclination burn will be happening right now. I'm going to go ahead and burn monopropellant at the same time. There we go. Just to save a little bit extra delta V. There we go. And the next thing, of course, is going to be our standard Hohmann transfer to target burn. We're going to create the node, and let's see what that gives us. Disgusting. That is not in the slightest what we want. Okay. Let's burn maybe a little... Actually, we need to go the other direction. We want to reverse our directionality here based on the direction that pull is going around Joule. So we just want to encapsulate the pull orbit a little bit here and make sure we're going the same direction. We're coming in here, exiting here. Pull is going this direction, so that's the correct directionality. Fantastic. This is about right. However, we can go ahead and bring it out maybe a little bit more. Save a few fractions of a delta V. There we go. And that node is actually only in 124 days, so we've still got a great transfer window here. I'm going to go ahead and physics warp our turn, and then we will time warp over to that burn. Fantastic. And off we go. 100 more days. And Joule, here we come. What could go wrong? Oh, I'm going to miss you, Joule system. There's a lot to do here. Well, like I said, we're not quite done with the Joule system, even once we finish this mission. We're still going to have to get our asteroid station into orbit around Bop. And that's going to get exciting. May have to run a couple of refueling missions. I don't think so, though. But it's certainly weird to try to push those asteroids around, at least before they're mined out. It's really weird. Anyway, this burn is happening now, and I'm going to go ahead and burn the remainder of our monopropellant along with it. And there we go. We are now officially leaving Kerbal very behind. I'm not sure where it is exactly, but we should still probably be able to see it somewhere. But we changed our inclination, so it could be basically anywhere at this point. I didn't keep track of it. So, goodbye, Kerbal, wherever you are. It was mediocre knowing you. Your gravity is too strong and your atmosphere is too thick to be a good launch site. We should build a launch site on the moon. Minmus would be better. Maybe I should do that sometime. Not in this playthrough. And I think that might require a mod. Okay. So we've burned off our main stage now, and we are now onto our nuclear stage. I'm going to continue burning our monopropellant to make this burn go just a little bit faster. We've got 8 minutes of burn to go here. So let's go ahead and get this over with. Fantastic. Will we need an inclination change once we get to Joule? That's the real question. And it looks like the answer is yes. Yes, we will need an inclination change. Look at that difference. I mean, some of it is because it's a perspective camera. But even so, we are definitely going to be needing an inclination change because we're coming in at a significantly different angle than Pole orbit's at. So, we'll have to do an inclination change after our braking burn. There is no doubt about that. However, we will need to, you know, warp and get here. We do have another 7,000 delta V, which will be more than enough. Like, realistically, we'll probably be able to land with this setup. I don't know if we'd have the thrust-to-weight ratio to land with this, and we definitely don't have the balancing skills to land with this. There's no doubt about that. But only about 500 more meters per second until we have our Joule encounter, so that is fantastic. And then, as usual, I'll start warping here, set up a braking burn. We've got ourselves another 2 minutes and 2.5 minutes on this burn, 400 delta V. And Pole is, of course, fairly elliptical. You can see that Joule is pretty off-center in the Pole orbit. The Berry center there is not exactly in Joule. So with an elliptical orbit like that, I mean, it's technically, I don't think that's the elliptical, but it's, the Berry center is pretty far off. It's right around here, rather than right around here. So, with that in mind, we're going to need to adjust our orbit a little bit and maybe not circularize it quite the way I'd normally do. But let's go ahead and start warping here. We've got 2.5 years to warp. And at this periapsis, set up a bit of a braking burn. And let's just go ahead and encapsulate the Pole orbit about like that or so. I mean, maybe circularize it a bit more so that we're a bit closer to being the same distance on each side. Something kind of like that. I think that'll be fine. And yeah, you can see that we'll need to do an inclination change as well. But that's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and stop that time warp. And MechJeb will come on in and do this burn here in 2 years. However, it is pretty much time to put a cut in, and we're going to be warping for 2 years anyway. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we will get this lander on Pole. See you all then.